Hey, welcome back to another ballistics gel test. Today we're shooting Hornady American Whitetail. More specifically, the 30-30 Winchester 150 grain interlock load. And my test rifle for this load is going to be my Glenfield Model 30A, basically a Marlin Model 336. It's got a 20-inch barrel with a really cool vintage Leopold M8 4X fixed power scope. And rather than my standard 100 yards, we're going to be shooting this at 50 yards today. I think when people think 30-30, they think closer range. I tend to agree. Even though you can reach out a little bit further with it, I think this is appropriate. So let's go ahead and shoot it. All right, we're down here at the blocks. Thankfully, the wind has died down for a second, and we did capture all 3 bullets. We had jacket core separation with 2 of them. The one there closer towards the bottom, the core flew completely out of it. The jacket was left in the first block. And then on the second bullet, which was the middle one right there, you've got lead core, and then, or no, that's actually part of a jacket. And then the rest of the bullet up here. And then my third shot was this one right here that seemed to stay together and penetrated the deepest, which sort of makes sense, being that it probably retained the most mass. And we've got the tape measure set up for penetration depth. I'm not going to count the piece of jacket back here because the core did continue on quite a bit more. So that core for the first bullet went to 19.5 inches. That second bullet there went to about 21.25, and the third shot almost hit 23. We got 22.75 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and dig these out so we can check them out. And let's look at the velocities for that American Whitetail 30-30 by Hornady. And there we go. The high was 23.43. The low was 23.10. And the average was 23.21. I am pleasantly surprised. That's the closest to factory spec I've seen on any ammo I've tested. And here we're looking at those Hornady American Whitetail 150 grain bullets fired from the 30-30. First, we'll talk about weight retention. Overall weight retention was 108 grains, and respectively, they were 123 grains, 120 grains, and 80 grains for that core on the right. And for the one bullet where the jacket and core separated, I went ahead and weighed the heavier of the 2 pieces, which was the core, for that 80 grains. And that works out to an overall retained weight of 72% on average. Now we'll go ahead and talk about expansion. So the average expanded diameter was 0.59 inches, and respectively they were 0.63 inches, 0.59 inches, and 0.55 inches for an overall average of 1.9x expansion. Now we'll talk velocity, and this ammo really surprised me here. We had a high velocity of 2,343 feet per second, a low of 2,310, an average of 2,321 versus a build velocity of 2,390 feet per second. We were actually pretty close to the build velocity. We were only 69 feet per second slow. So, I mean, sometimes the stars do align. We didn't quite hit that build velocity, but we came closer than any other ammo so far. Now let's talk about penetration. Average penetration was 21.2 inches, and respectively we got 22.75 inches, 21.25 inches, and 19.5 inches. So penetration wasn't bad. Unfortunately, we did have that one bullet break up. I wish that didn't happen, and we may have seen actually better penetration. But overall, it's right there at that 20-inch benchmark that I like to see. Closing thoughts on that Hornady American Whitetail 150 grain 30-30 load. There were some highlights. Velocity was great. We almost hit factory stated velocity for once in a blue moon, so that was refreshing. Expansion was close to my 2x benchmark that I like to see. We were right at 1.9x, so not bad there. Penetration was also good. We got over 20 inches, which is also another benchmark that I've kind of set based off other tests I've done with ammo. So we hit expansion, we hit penetration, velocity was great. The one place where this ammo didn't really measure up was weight retention, and that was largely due to the one bullet that had that jacket and core separation. So had that not happened, maybe it would have had better average weight retention, but it did, and so we're including it in the results. Overall, if my rifle liked this ammo better than any other, I wouldn't be afraid to use it on deer, other medium game, but it's not looking like my personal go-to. Hey, if you enjoy these videos, check out my website, masonleather.com, and get yourself some leather gear handmade by me just for you. I've been handcrafting leather gear for hunters for over a decade, and I would love to make you something. The link is in the video description. And check out my channel for more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests.